Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stay Haunted. Carmela has transitioned.
It's mini-me.
All right, Todd, introduce everybody to who's sitting in Carmela's spot.
So, hello, everybody in chat. Thanks for being here. We are currently in Key West on vacation. Carmela's a little bit under the weather, but TJ's sitting in for the moment. She may hop in. But this is our younger son, TJ.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the show,
Say
TJ.
hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
He's going to sit in your mom's chair, you got to talk.
What's that?
I said if he's going to sit in his mom's chair, he's got to talk.
You got to talk. Well, does he have to crouch down like she does normally? Like, the show goes on. You're good.
So, guys, I want to talk to our audience really quick. This is a phenomenal show. Not only are we coming to you from Ohio, but we're coming to you from Key West. Todd took time away, and TJ took time away. They are literally on Duval Street. Anybody that knows Key West, Duval Street, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, Duval Street's always hopping. At 9 o'clock at night, we'd still be drunk. Audrey and I'd still be drunk and down on the street.
Stay haunted.
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I beg your pardon. But we are not only coming to you from Lake Erie, Ohio, but we're also coming to you from the Caribbean waters of Key West.
That's right.
That's a first.
Right next to Willie T's.
Woohoo.
Yes. So
how was your weekend? You know what our weekend's been like so far.
yeah, your weekend's been Key West. Anybody that has never been to Key West, you need to look up and just see pictures of Key West. You don't even have to look up the history of Key West. Just look at the pictures of Key West. Most of all, look up the pictures of Fantasy Fest in Key West. You'll thank me later.
That's a good time.
But
Mr. Everett.
we didn't do shit. We went out to happy hour on Friday. So everybody knows we moved to Ohio to be next to Audra's parents. There is a Mexican food restaurant right down the street called Tequila's. Takela. And they have happy hour every day of the week from 3 to 5:30. And so we go down every Friday by 4 o'clock. We're sitting at Tequila's. We've only lived here since May, and they know our drink order.
They have it. As soon as I walk in, they're like, plunk.
Appetizers are half off. Margaritas are half off. Me, her, and her mother, when her mother's in town, meet down there every Friday for happy hour. And all three of us can have dinner, and we're feeling no pain by the time we leave. $60 with
Can't
tip.
beat it.
Can't beat it. And the food is great. The margaritas,
They're good.
they got a lot of tequila in them. That's all I can say. But
They're good.
That's a good thing.
that's what we did on
always
Friday.
a good thing.
And Saturday we just ran errands, and then Sunday I did some work around the house. So
TJ's not of the age yet to drink tequila.
Oh, he cannot partake legally.
no, let's correct that statement. TJ is of the age to drink tequila, just not legally in an establishment with a liquor license.
True. Very true.
In establishment.
So you have Robbie go in and get the drinks and bring them out.
Yeah.
The whole system.
I see Cheyenne popping in and out in the
I
background.
was going to say, like, are we having a ghost paranormal experience?
It's like a ghost.
Yeah. Little
we're
face
seeing like we're
popping
in Key West, so anything's possible down here. So
True.
Yes, earrings.
there she
So I'm like-
is.
There's Carmela. Carmela's not feeling good, guys. She might not be on the show, but that's okay.
Problem.
She got a tooth problem.
Jesus. We're
We're off the rails already. We got Cheyenne scaring Carmela.
I
Yeah.
had a man in the bathroom who I thought was Todd, but it wasn't. And when I looked back, he was no longer there. Who is the man?
where you're staying?
Yes, where
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
staying. And
In Key West, no telling.
Jake
That
was
place is-
laying on the couch, and he thought it was me outside. He said he saw a woman with long black hair. I'm like, well, that's not me. And she like looked in the window and then looked away. But we're on the second floor, so there's no way that a woman could have come up here.
TJ,
So
do you
just-
have any?
Nope.
No.
I've been dead asleep the whole time.
Literally.
Dead asleep.
So we're letting TJ for me tonight.
So just to guys give everybody a concept of Key West. Key West was one of Blackbeard's stops. That's how old Key West is. They've had battles there. They've got a fort there. There's a lot of history in Key West. So no telling who the guy was in the shower. The question is, did he have clothes on?
He did. But shockingly, I didn't because I was in the shower. But not that you needed to know that. But it was a bald guy looking over. And I thought, why is he bothering me again? And I looked and I'm like, that's not him. And I turned away and looked back again. I'm like, yep, nope, not there. Why is he bothering me again? And I said,
This may go off the rails multiple times tonight. Just saying.
Yes.
I don't blame you.
I don't blame you.
Only if we had Jake to tell his experience at the Garden of Eden.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Jake went
Cousin
to the Garden.
Yes.
Jake went to the Garden of Eden with his
he was
dad.
the only
Yes.
one that would go up.
So for those of you watching, we will not give details, but you have to look up the Garden of Eden in Key West.
Yep.
Something he never wants to see again.
Yeah.
It is literally a hangout for retirees.
Literally hang out. Literally.
Hang.
All your bits.
On your bits.
All
It's
your
a little lower than usual, apparently.
All your bits.
All right, guys.
What did he say?
So I'm going to go ahead and shift this off the rails broadcast from Key West.
We really have an awesome guest.
We have a
Yeah.
fantastic
Yes.
guest. And this fantastic guest actually has stuff to do after the show tonight that involves the paranormal.
I know.
So, guys, the guest we have tonight is a phenomenal person. We love her. She was on Entity Voices multiple times. We consider her a friend. Kristy Sumner of Soul Sisters Paranormal and owner of the historic Scott County Jail. And there's more.
Yeah, more to come.
More to come. In 2014, Dr. Kristy Sumner coupled her passion for travel history and the paranormal when she formed Soul Sisters Paranormal, an all-female team made up of Sumner and her two sisters and two friends. As a team of 5 investigators, Soul Sisters Paranormal traveled to some of the most historic and reportedly haunted locations in the U.S. to determine for themselves if spirit activities do exist and to highlight the rich history of each location, which is important in the paranormal. The team traveled and investigated numerous U.S. locations, including Trans Allegheny, the Lizzie Borden House, the Villisca Ax Murder House. That's in Key West.
That's up to the garden.
The St. Augustine Lighthouse, Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary, and tons of other, including the USS North Carolina and their current location. In 2020, the Soul Sister Paranormal moved to a 2-investigator format with only Kristy and her twin sister, Dr. Jenny Summer, conducting paranormal investigations. As a two-person team, yes, I'm reading.
Yeah.
As a two-person, and I don't have that teleprompter that moves, guys. So, as a two-person
Next.
team, they have
Yeah.
investigated at the Attala County Jail, the Old Southern Funeral Home, the Grand Old Lady Hotel, the Hamilton County Jail, the USS North Carolina, which I told you about, and the old hospital on College Hill. Additionally, in 2021, Kristy and her friend Miranda Young, another awesome person, co-founded a company called the Historic Highways and Haunts, LLC, which is operated out of the historic and haunted historic Scott County Jail in Huntsville, Tennessee. Prior to forming Soul Sister Paranormal, Kristy, who holds a PhD, so not only is she awesome, she's highly intelligent,
Face calm down.
in public affairs with an emphasis on criminal justice, was a senior director for the registered traveler company focused on biometric clearances for the traveling public. She was a senior consultant for a biometric credentialing company, and it's a lot of big words, Kristy. And she was a college professor at Metro State College of Denver and the University of Central Florida. Jenny, who also holds a PhD in public affairs, is currently a director at the University of Florida. Jenny is Kristy's sister. Very intelligent ladies, awesome people. Everybody say hello to Kristy.
Hey, everybody.
Did I talk you up enough and make you blush?
You did. I'm blushing. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. How y'all doing tonight?
We're doing good.
Good. So excited to have you on this
We're
show.
in Key West, so we're good.
You're always good there, Todd.
So Kristy, tell us. I call her Chris.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell us how two sisters with PhDs, with everything that you've learned and all the studying that you've done and the hard work that you've put into your career, get sucked into this world called the paranormal.
Well, it did kind of start with that research mindset, right? So like a lot of people in this community, we would watch the television shows, Ghost Hunters, Taps, and all of that. And we found ourselves kind of saying, when we're watching these episodes, why aren't they using this technique? Why aren't they staying here and asking these questions? Why aren't they digging deeper into this? And so we always said to ourselves, if we could go on a paranormal investigation, we'd jump at that opportunity. So in 2014, we were actually taking a girls' trip to Moundsville, West Virginia. And so we actually had a friend of the family that sat on the board of the West Virginia State Penitentiary. And he said, while you're here this weekend, why don't you just stay the night at the jail of the penitentiary and see if you can connect with our resident spirits? So we went to Walmart, grabbed a couple of voice recorders, a couple of little cameras, and had just an amazing experience. So we came out of that experience and we wanted to delve further into the historical narrative of these locations and really see if we can couple the historical narrative with the paranormal claims. And we wanted to do it, one, from a research perspective, and then also to, as best we could, legitimize paranormal investigation, make it more mainstream by what we thought was a professional appearance, just kind of really trying to amplify the professionalism in the paranormal community rather than some of the stuff that you actually see like on TikTok and stuff right now. So that's what we did. And we really, to your point, became sucked into this world, and to the point where I actually co-own a historic jail now. So it's a lot of fun.
So embellish on that a little bit and then tell them what you told us before the show started.
Embellish on the fact that I co-own a jail.
Yeah.
All right. So
everything else.
I am currently sitting in Huntsville, Tennessee, which is in East Tennessee. So we're about an hour's north of Knoxville. And my business partner and I, Miranda Young, she is a paranormal investigator as well. And we became really good friends about 9 years ago. And we did some investigations together and started, doing some collaborations together. And she has a love of historic preservation, as I do. And so we had talked about maybe at one point in our lives finding a place that we could preserve historically, but then also call it a paranormal research center. And so through a long series of life events, COVID being one of them, she ended up losing her job in Chattanooga. And I was in a position to kind of move up here to Tennessee at that point. And so she is from this area, and she knew the jail was sitting vacant and said, do we want to put this business plan into action? And I said, yeah, opening a museum in the middle of a pandemic sounds like a great idea. Let's go ahead and do that. Right? It's either that or buy a lotto ticket, one or the other.
Right.
So we went with this, and it's been a blast ever since. So we opened in the fall of 2021, and it is the historic Scott County Jail here in Huntsville. It's a 3-story building. It was built in 1904, in operation as the jail until 2008. And by day, we have a true crime museum. So we offer day tours. And then at night, we have guided ghost hunts, paranormal investigations, flashlight tours. So we have a whole tour selection for the after dark activities as well.
And that's just the jail.
Yes, that's just the jail. So then 2 years ago, we partnered with the historic village of Rugby, which is about 20 minutes from here. And that is a utopian village that was formed in 1880 by a British author by the name of Thomas Hughes. And during its heyday, really from 1883 to 1887, there were about 400 people that lived in this, and they called a colony at that point, that lived in the colony. There were 68 structures that were built. And of those 68 structures, 14 of the original 1880 structures remain. So we do all of the After Dark programming for the historic village of Rugby now. And so we do all of the guided ghost hunts, paranormal investigations, the lantern tours. And again, that's a lot of fun. Like I said, both Miranda and I have that deep love of history. And really what we've been studying for the last couple of years is historic preservation through After Dark tourism. So that's what I've been speaking on. Actually, I've been going to different tourism groups and research groups speaking about how historic preservation can be coupled with After Dark tourism, especially since COVID, allowing some of these locations to actually stay in business through After Dark money. So that's kind of what we've been doing holistically.
That is fantastic.
I know.
And I want to make sure everybody caught the message that Chris was so subtle about. Preserving and restoring the history of these locations. Mm-hmm. She wasn't focused on the paranormal portion of it. It was restoring the history through paranormal, right?
Exactly.
But at the same time, the most important thing that you said there was restoring the history and preserving that and not letting it slip away from us, because we tend to do that. You'll see, how many times have you seen a building that was built in the 1800s get tore down so they could build a parking lot, or get tore down so they could build a Taco Bell?
Yeah. Right. That's absolutely right. And that's exactly what we want to do. And like I said, because I actually did a research study last year, and I surveyed 700 museums across the country, really talking about After Dark tourism. So museums and historic locations. And I present this information at tourism groups. So for example, I'll be speaking up in New Hampshire in October at the Travel and Tourism Research Association's annual meeting up there, giving them this information, how After Dark tourism can preserve a building. With the historic Scott County Jail, our daytime tours, they're okay, right? They're not going to set the world on fire. We're in a small rural town. You got to want to kind of come here to come to this town. But our After Dark is allowing us to keep the lights on. So we're preserving the building. The taxpayer is not paying for the building anymore. We took over that burden. We pay for the utilities. We pay for the liability insurance. So we took all of that burden, and now the taxpayer doesn't have to, and that's preserving the building again through After Dark tourism. So this is very important to both Miranda and myself.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that draws Audra and I to the paranormal, is when we go out to investigate a location. Of course, we hit the hot spots like Tala and stuff like that. But the first portion of everything that we do is let's learn the history, because that's more fascinating to us. I mean, we get excited about the evidence that we capture and the EVPs, and anytime we catch anything on video is rare, but always phenomenal. Mm-hmm. But the history of those places are what fascinates us. So I love what you guys are doing. Well, doesn't matter how small the town, doesn't matter how rural. The fact that you guys are preserving that history that we so often just let drift away from us is just so phenomenal. That is fantastic.
Well, thank you. And what we're also doing is showing the history in a different light, essentially. So some people who may not have a love of history but have a love of the paranormal, they have to learn the history before they can experience the paranormal. So for example, when a paranormal investigation team comes to our jail, if they're going to release any type of video, we mandate that they take a historical tour with us, and they have to put forward the accurate historical narrative of our location. They can't embellish or do anything like that. Now, we don't monitor what they put out there, but they have to sign a waiver that they will take the historical tour if they're going to put forth any type of video. And to your point, with Soul Sisters Paranormal, that's exactly what we love to do. I mean, we get to go to these locations and have a very tactile experience with history, right? I get to touch the doorknob that Lizzie Borden touched, or walked on the floor of the Villisca Ax Murder House, or stay the night in Brushy Mountain State Penitentiary. So we have a very unique perspective that the general public doesn't get to have. And to be able to convey that to our audience and our fan base is really what is important to us, because some people might not get to experience that. And so to keep the history alive through the paranormal, that's exactly why we do this.
That's phenomenal.
Quick question, Chris.
Sure.
So talking about the historical context of the groups that come in there, have you found, I know you, like you said, you can't control what they put out, but have you found in watching material that they have put out coincides with the historical facts of the location?
Absolutely they do. And we've had a couple of teams maybe try to buck the narrative a little bit, but for the most part they're respectful. And then another thing that we have that there are absolutely no demons here. There's nothing evil, malicious, demonic. There's nothing like that, because I think that has become the predominant noise in YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, really trying to find these demons that are out there. And we tell the teams, we don't have that here. And they have to sign a waiver acknowledging that they will not say that there's demons associated with our locations. If they do, we sue them for libel and slander. And nobody has ever tried to go outside those boundaries at all. Yeah, because we're not going to desecrate the history of our location because, some little teeny bopper wants to get clicks and likes on their TikTok channel. So we're very protective of the history. And both Miranda and I, when we do our investigations, anywhere we go out, and do investigations, we're very protective of that history as well.
That's phenomenal.
That's an awesome, it really is. And just like Carmela and I, that's what kind of drew us, like indirectly, when we started doing investigations, and we're relatively new to it, only 3 years in, haven't been doing walking like tours that you offer at, after dark locations and stuff like that. But then now that we had the opportunity, and it's like seeing the chance to save these buildings, it's like, I was just thinking, it's like, how many locations throughout the country are there? I mean, there's got to be thousands of locations, just like the one that you're working with that are saving. Like, that's important. Like, it's you don't want to see that history get wiped off the map. And
exactly right.
This is not paranormal related, but we were just talking with a guy of a location. He's like, he's been down in Key West. He's like, oh, we've been here he's been down here for 30 years. And he's like, the place that I rented or lived at 30 some years ago, he's like, it just sold for like $1 million. And he's like, he says the only thing that's probably holding it together is, what do you say? Termites. Termites together. That's, it's an awesome thing that you're doing, using the funds to upkeep and, like you said,
well, and I want to point out something, and then we'll get to some of your evidence, because not only does she do the phenomenal stuff that Chris was just talking about, but she's also a paranormal investigator. We've got some evidence that she shared with us tonight.
Yeah.
But the one thing I want to point out is people tend to, we get involved in the history, the paranormal, without the history, the paranormal doesn't exist, right? So you have to know the history of all these locations. Me coming from a construction background, a lot of people go to art studios or art galleries to admire somebody else's creation. Pay close attention when you go to these historical places. The detail, the construction, how they built stuff.
Oh, yeah.
We think we're smart now because we have technology. People back then had to figure this stuff out on their own. And most of the woodwork that you see in these historic locations, there were craftsmen that did this stuff by hand. You want to talk about artwork? Go look at some of these historical locations, because the men that built these things were artists.
And it's funny you say that, and thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, because when we do the historical tours or the lantern tours through rugby, we obviously hit the history as well as the haunts and legends associated with it. But we actually take you into some of the buildings that are there that were built in 1881, 82, 83. And one of the things that I always point out on my tours are the doorknobs and the hinges, because they are original from 1880. 81, 82, 83. And so they're very intricate and detailed. And so that you're exactly right. You can't go to Walmart and pick up these hinges anymore. They were handcrafted, handmade, and they just aren't made like that. And, when some of these locations that are struggling for funds, that's what we've been trying to teach. Paranormal investigations and after dark tourism can help you get funds and get revenue to help preserve these locations. And so again, that's one of the things that I've been trying to go when I go out to talk and present this information. That's one of the things I point out as well, because we're helping to preserve it. You're just doing it from a different medium.
Can I ask you a quick question, Chris?
Sure.
Did you coin the phrase after dark tourism?
No.
Okay. I'm
did
just
not.
curious where, because I mean, it's catchy. I love it. I mean, it's,
Yes, I did not coin that phrase. It is in use. Actually, after dark tourism worldwide, it is about a $30 billion industry. And
wow.
And it's interesting. And what my study has shown is there are a lot of historical sites that don't want to participate in it because they feel it's a negative stigma. But what I try to show them is, one, you're leaving revenue on the table. Your building is still going to be there at night. It's not going to make you money at night if you're not doing something. And so that's what I try to teach them. It does not have to be something that is scary or demonic or evil. It can just be telling the history with a lantern, and you're going to draw in a different crowd. You don't even have to bring up the paranormal. You just have to show your history in a different light. And it's going to bring in a different population than people that, may just want to drive by a house and say, oh, that's just an old house. But you give them that old house with a flashlight or a lantern, all of a sudden it becomes after dark tourism. And that is revenue coming in. And so I've done a whole presentation on this. I did a complete, 60 questionnaire survey that I sent to 700 locations across the country. And the data that I got back is just incredible. And that's what I've been sharing with different locations and with different tourism groups.
We need to hook up after the show. And well, you got work to do tonight, but we need to hook up because there's a 1756. I'm not going to name the house. There's a 1756 house 10 minutes down the road from us that I've been reaching out to try and initiate something. They're only open from 8 to noon on Saturdays.
And that's it.
And we're talking the history in this location of where we're at. I mean, we're talking the French and Indian War, the War of 1812.
Yeah.
There was a big Indian battle.
Coming up the Maumee. Some of the battles. Yep.
There's an area called Fallen Timbers where there was an American Army versus Indian battle where the American Army slaughtered hundreds of indigenous people within a quarter mile of where this house sits. And this house has seen it all. And I've been reaching out to them saying, hey, I can produce revenue for you. More revenue than your 8 to 12 can. And I haven't gotten a response. So I would love to hear some of the
your feedback on
absolutely. I mean, absolutely. Because all the places that I also reached out to, because not only did I reach out to, 700 different historical societies and museums, I also reached out to locations that are doing this, that are participating in After Dark tourism. The USS North Carolina, which we're going to talk about, over 16% of its operating revenue comes from After Dark tourism.
Wow.
Same thing with Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia. I think it's something like 13 to 15% of their operating revenue comes from After Dark tourism. Here at the historic Scott County Jail, I mean, almost 80% of our operating revenue comes from After Dark tourism. And then we're paying a rent to Rugby every month to do our tours over there, and that goes directly to their historic preservation fund. So this is something that can absolutely bring in revenue to museums or houses or historical structures that are begging for dollars right now. And so you can see it's something that I get very passionate about.
Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. All right, so I could do this. We could talk about this during the whole show, but I want to show the people what an amazing investigator that you are.
Well, thank you.
So some of the clips that we have, you have some from the Rugby, you have some from Fort Mifflin, you have the USS North Carolina, you have the historic county jail, historic Scott County Jail, Lizzie Borden, Ma Barker. Where was that one?
That's in Central Florida. That's in Ocala, Marion County, Florida, just outside of Orlando.
And then what is OHCH?
That's the old hospital on College Hill.
Bill Chris.
Sorry.
No, that's not you. That's me.
We did not have good luck with that one.
No.
So.
Oh, really?
We had a storm come through. We had I had recorders and video on every floor. And I did not realize the echo from the other floors coming up the stairs, so it killed my audio. And then I forgot to turn the IR on my cameras, so all I have is black video. So, so unfortunately, we investigated, but we didn't.
It's all right, Chris. I've been there too. I've forgotten to turn on the external shotgun mic and just had like 8 hours of just video, no audio. So we've all been there.
But anyway, but the hospital and College Hill was fantastic. But the first clip we're going to show is the Rugby Schoolhouse tripwire.
Okay. Yep. So do you want me to set it up first, or? Okay. So Historic Rugby, like I said, was built in 1880. It was founded by a British author by the name of Thomas Hughes. And the schoolhouse, this is not the original schoolhouse. The original burnt down in 1906. This is actually the picture of the library. The library was actually built in 1882. But the schoolhouse was the original burnt in 1906. The one I'm investigating in was built in 1907. And we're over there every weekend now doing tours and paranormal investigations and stuff. So I've started to form a connection with some of the spirits that are there. And in the schoolhouse, I do believe that we're communicating with a young child by the name of Tiffany. And so the tripwire is a tool that I've become really happy with. We've gotten some really interesting results with it. And so the one that I'm using is the 36-foot long version. So I have it strung out from one end of the school to the other. And it's pretty incredible what we get on this.
Oh, nice.
Awesome. Let's take a look at this. Here we go.
Tiffany, can you touch another light for me, please? Can you touch 2 of them? All right, thank you. Is Hiram here? Is Hiram here with you? So Tiffany, are you here by yourself? Touch the lights if you're here by yourself. Is somebody else here? Okay, all right, thank you. Do you like being here alone? Oh, okay. Do you like when other people come and talk to you though? Okay, thank you. Can you light up all of the can you light up all of the lights for me? How about all the way down the strand? Can you do that? Okay, thank you. What about the one at the very far end? Can you run all the way down there and touch it for me, please? Okay, thank you. That was fast. Wow, okay, thank you. You were fast.
Wow.
That was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It is actually very cool. Like I said, I believe we're communicating with a young girl by the name of Tiffany. I think she's between 11 and 13. And that schoolhouse is unlike any other place for that tripwire. The TV show Haunted Discoveries actually did a program there. They did 2 episodes of Haunted Discovery at Rugby, and they had the same interaction. And it's again, like these spirits just really want to tell their stories. And what's interesting about Rugby is what we found is it's always been considered a haunted location. But prior to us coming in 2 years ago, they had never done any after dark programming. And since we've come in and every weekend we're telling their stories, we're keeping them alive through our stories. And I think they're responding to that. So it's really weird to say, but the more we talk about it, the more energy is actually making itself known. We've captured full body apparitions on pictures. We've captured disembodied voices. It runs the gamut. It's such an amazing place, and I think it's because we're really on a nightly basis telling their stories, and they love it.
Yep.
Well, they get comfortable with you,
Agreed.
just like
Yep.
it's a trust factor. It's like we tell people multiple times that you got to remember that these are just people without their meat suits, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when they get comfortable with you, it's like you're visiting them. They get comfortable with you. They're going to
And they're gonna
respond.
open up and tell their stories.
They're going to open up, tell their stories because they know that your intent's a good intent.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and the way I always explain it as well is it's like us, right? We don't want to go through life thinking that we're not noticed or not seen or not projecting ourselves to other humans, right? We don't want to be invisible in life. And I don't think spirits want to be invisible in death. They want to be themselves known. They want to have their stories told. And I think, like I said, because we're doing this, I love the fact that they're actually opening up to us more. And every time we go, we learn something else. Like I'll ask another question that I don't usually ask on every tour, and we're getting some interesting responses.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So Ron, we like to reference Ron. I steal Ron's timing and relevance all the time. Like you said, when you asked that very specific question about that last light down the end and, boop, you got it right on right
Right
on.
away.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
And thank you, Ron. Thanks for being here tonight. And thank you for everybody in the comments that are here tonight with all your questions and kind words. But to Ron's point, you're absolutely right. And if you watch the video, the lights down at the end hadn't gone off in that session yet. And that's why I said, can you just touch one of those down there? And when it did, that's the type of stuff that we get, extremely intelligent responses at Rugby, which is pretty cool.
So you said there's multiple locations. So this is the church.
Yep. So that's the church. So there's 14 of the original structures that are there. We get access to 6 of them. And so we can take you into the library, the schoolhouse, a house called Kingstone Lisle, the visitor center, and then Uffington House. And then sometimes we can get you down to the cemetery as well. So it's just a very unique place. So for example, this library here that was built in 1882, everything in the building is original. Every single book that was donated to that library, there were 7,000 that were donated, only 5 are missing. So it's the most complete, it's the most complete work of pre-1900 literature in the Southeast United States. It's the most complete collection. So things like that, things like that are just phenomenal. And to be able to go into them on a nightly basis and again, have that tactile experience with them and getting to know the spirits that are there. I love it. It's absolutely like no other job that there is. It's pretty cool.
Well, that alone talks about your hard work and dedication as to getting this out there and reaching out to the different locations to try and share their history. Because you have your 1910 jail, and we'll talk about your other locations that you're adding on here in a little bit. But to get the Rugby Church, library, school, to get that many buildings, I mean, God, it took us almost a year to get the Montgomery House.
Yeah.
You've got a location with a vast amount of history, and you've got 6 different buildings that you take people into. That is phenomenal, Chris.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
And I'll tell you, it's, and I'm not saying this to sound boastful because I'm not, it's just something that we did. When Miranda and I first started this, again, we wanted to give a very professional front. And so when we approached the town of Huntsville about the jail, we had a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, really discussing all of the revenue benefits of the jail. We didn't even talk about the paranormal until like slide 16 or 17. We talked about how we were going to help preserve this location and how we were going to put our effort into saving this building. And then we talked about, okay, now we're going to bring in this after dark aspect because we're in the Bible, right? I mean, we're the little thing that holds the belt together. That's how in the belt we are, right? And so we knew it was going to be a tough sell, but once we start listing all of the revenue potential, and then you bring in the paranormal, everybody's so enamored with what we can do just by our presence, and then bringing in the paranormal was just the added bonus. And so once we built up our reputation here with the jail, we went over to Rugby and we gave them a presentation, said, listen, this is what we can do for you. It is a 50-50 split, business split. So all of the ticket prices, half of it goes to Rugby, and they get the benefit of historic preservation through what we do. And that's the way we want it to be. Because again, without these locations, we can't share the paranormal. And without the paranormal, we can't share, we're sharing that history through the paranormal. And so again, it's one of those things that we made a conscious effort to say, this is how we're going to help preserve your location. And people responded to it.
That's phenomenal.
Kitty.
So introduce the kitty.
This is Sally, our jail cat. She's our little mascot. She's also head of guest relations. So if you go to our website, she's there. She's going to, I think, be on one of the videos that we're going to show here.
I just moved it up because now that she stepped in, that was perfect.
I was just going to say, because I want to say, Chris, I says, oh, now that I'm thinking about it, I says, I remember watching you were on maybe another podcast, and I want to say there was a cat in the gift shop or something like that, right?
Yes. Yes. So are we going to share that now, Chris?
We're going to share it now. Go ahead and lay it out for him.
Okay. So in the historic Scott County Jail, which is about 200 feet from where I'm sitting right now, we used to have our gift shop in one of the old cells, and currently we're able to move that backtrack. I'm sitting in a bank right now that was built in 1909. And it was a bank really up until COVID. And then it shut down. And because we had the jail, the town allowed us to have the bank as well. So now we've got 2 locations here. And so we moved our gift shop and our ticketing office here in the building that I'm sitting in right now. But the jail is about 200 feet from us. And originally we had our gift shop in one of the former cells inside that building, inside the jail. And each of the cells have a 250-pound steel door because it was a cell. And when we had our gift shop over there, Selly loved to go in and lay on the T-shirts at night. So we shut that door and we would not let her in at night because nobody wanted to buy a T-shirt with Selly hair. And so one Thursday morning at about 5 o'clock, our security cameras notified motion in that room. And this is what we captured. Now, again, remember, this is a 250-pound steel door. She's a 13-pound cat. And the door is designed to stay shut. It's not designed to open. But here we go.
And I want to add to this because I've seen this clip before.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take environmental out of this, guys. A 250-pound door with hinges from 1910. There is no possible way air conditioning. So let's take that out of the loop now. There is no possible way air conditioning in a 1910 building or a window being open can cause suction power to move a 250-pound door with 1910 hinges.
Yeah. And go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
And the hinges back then were not made to sag. They were not made to lean. This door has been in the same exact spot since the day it was installed. There is no environmental influence in this at all. You guys have got to see this video. It's phenomenal.
And one thing also, I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but if you listen to it as well, when it's going to do it a couple times, but the first time, listen to the reverb. And then the last time, listen to the reverb because there isn't any. And you would expect that the last time is going to have the most reverb. So here we go.
All right, here we go.
Whoa, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I this is the second or third time I've seen this video. I now have a theory. And I'm pretty positive about it. It's almost like whatever was doing it was trying to get the cat's attention.
Those first couple times.
It's like, hey,
we're in trouble. I
for you.
was just getting ready to say that the cat. It's like, hey, come on, kitty, you can go in there. It's okay. When the spirit's like, yeah, we know where you're not supposed to be in there. It's like, we're gonna get you in trouble.
And you're exactly right. That's exactly right. Because the spirits and Selly have a really good relationship. In fact, she stays down here at the bank now instead of the jail. And we've had teams go in since she's been down here. We have teams go in the jail and they're getting the response of where's the cat? They're getting EVP saying, where's the cat? Or where's kitty? Or kitty, kitty. And so I think what was happening is our spirits were saying, hey, we're going to let you in. Just to y'all's point, we're going to let you in. She wasn't terrified. I will tell you, if you were to continue that video on for about another minute, she jumps right up on the T-shirts, she curls up and she goes to sleep, so that she got what she wanted. So,
so she was saying thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Thank you. Yep.
But now let's go back to the reverb part that you talked about. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, kitty, kitty. The cat's in. Boom. It almost sounds like something's holding the door shut.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't reverb after that.
Let's watch that again.
Sure.
That was very cool.
Right, here we go. That is so cool.
Yeah, yeah. And so if we were to carry it on just a little bit, her next couple of steps, she jumped up on the t-shirts and went to sleep. Yeah,
The cat.
maybe she does. Maybe she does. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting if you kind of watch it. If you were to zoom in on her a little bit, it's when she comes in, her tail is up. It's almost like somebody's pushing her in the butt to kind of get her in there. And to, let's see, Melissa B's point, terrified that she'd get stuck in the door. I think that's why the door on the third one opens so much
so
further.
Wide, yeah.
It opens so much further because it opened and then whatever just kind of shoved her in, and then they shut it and held it.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
That's a wild bit.
That is the
Love
golden
it.
goose right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that-
that's a great piece of evidence. Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Texture change.
Okay, so I thought I saw a shadow near the sign on the door. Maybe that's what Scott's talking about too. There was
We'll have to go back and look at that.
like more towards the end. It almost looks like there's, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
something there.
Okay. I'll take a look at that.
Yeah.
Not sure what she's doing back there, but she knows we're talking about her.
Talking about me, I know that.
That's insane. Okay, so this next one is Fort Mifflin 57.
Okay, so Fort Mifflin, and what I wanted to kind of do was give you some different examples of some of the things that we've captured. So one of the things that I will always go on an investigation with, Sally, get down, is I don't know what you're doing, is voice recorders. Voice recorders to me are the best form of equipment. If I have nothing else, I'm taking voice recorders.
Love
And
it.
so we have about 15 of them that we set in different places around a location. Now in Fort Mifflin, this was interesting because we had set this voice recorder in a casemate that during the Civil War, they held both Confederate and Union soldiers, and they numbered them. So every time when they did roll call, you had to yell out your prisoner number so they would know everybody was in there. So there are 4 people on this investigation that night, all female. There's nobody else anywhere around because we're on the other side of the fort when this was captured. So we think this is one of the prisoners yelling out their prisoner numbers.
Oh.
Oh, wow. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
What's interesting about that is there's an echo to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost makes me wonder if you'd have been standing there, if it would have been audible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure it would have been. It was extremely loud. And obviously I didn't share them all, but we captured several things in that casemate, which is pretty wild. If you go and watch our video of it on soulsistersparanormal.com, we're actually in there also. And I said, "What's the name of your president?" And we get the name Lincoln.
Oh, wow.
Which is kind of wild. Yeah, it's an audible male voice. And again, there's only 4 females there that night. Yeah. So Fort Mifflin is an amazing place, but that is a really interesting EVP because again, there's no men and we're not anywhere near it. And yet you get this number being yelled out.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it coincides with the history.
Yeah. Wow.
We've yet to do a private at Fort Mifflin. We're in Columbus, New Jersey, so we're literally 40 minutes from
Right
it.
there. Yeah, you need to go. You need to go and tell Greg I said, hey, when
We've
you
been
go.
there, just not for a private investigation yet. So
And we have had Greg on the show.
Yeah, we had Greg on the show.
I love Greg. He's a great
Yeah.
guy.
We
And
talked
we
to
got
Greg
to
at the
meet
bash.
him at the
Yeah.
bash.
yeah, we
Yeah,
saw Greg at
finally.
the bash. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
awesome.
So Fort Mifflin's a great place.
Yeah, we haven't been up that area at all. We need to go hang out with Todd and Carmela and
You know
Ron.
where
Ford.
it comes
And
from.
I know we need.
There you go.
Oh, you're good, Joe.
I don't need a job.
I'm
I
just
got
kidding.
you.
Nah, they're overrated.
They're overrated.
Overrated.
All right, we've got 4 more clips. I'm gonna speed through them because I want to save some time at the
Oh,
end
yeah. Gosh.
for you to talk about your new locations coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'll hint on that. I don't want to give it away just yet. So-
Not yet, but we
Yeah.
will. And you can talk about how people can come and hook up for the jail and the bank and the
Yeah.
rugby.
Yeah.
All right,
We
so
don't have
this
to
one,
speed. I mean, we're here, so we don't have to speed. So go ahead.
I know you got a lot to do tonight. So for everybody watching, Chris still has her nighttime tours to do after the show.
We have a paranormal investigation tonight.
Yeah, and you've actually got.
Are you an hour behind us?
No, it's 9:50.
It is 9:50. Like, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right on the border of the cutoff.
Yep.
All right. So
All right,
this
what's
one,
next?
love this place. EVP from the USS North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, North Carolina. The North Carolina for me is the most amazing place. Just the history behind it. For those of you who don't know, this was built in 1937. It saw every. It was active in every theater in the Pacific during the war, and then in 1961 they opened it as a museum. So the fact that the North Carolinians came together to save this battleship, just the story behind the saving of the battleship is amazing. If you don't know the history, I have a complete history on the Soul Sisters Paranormal.com website. But this was an interesting investigation. This is just my sister, my twin sister, and I were the only two people on the ship that night.
Nice.
Yeah. So we had the whole ship. It was just the two of us. And if you've been on the North Carolina, you know that those doorways are kind of tight, right? Especially if you're carrying equipment boxes. So the whole time we're setting up equipment, we're either hitting our knees or hitting our elbows or something, right? And my sister doesn't cuss, so I was doing the cussing for both of us. And so we had set up all of the equipment, and this is a kind of the later tail end of the investigation. And we were going back into the medical unit, and I said, we're walking in, and I said, do you want to sit in here for a few more minutes, and we'll take the FLIR out? And this is what we captured.
This is fantastic. Here we go.
Do you want to sit in here a minute more? Yeah. We can whip the FLIR out. Do you hear it? The man's voice?
That was a male voice.
Yeah. And Jenny is just starting to talk, so you know it's not her and it's not me. And again, it's just the two of us there.
Oh,
so you want to play it again?
Males.
Yeah, let's listen to it again.
Do you want to sit in here a minute more? Yeah. We can whip the FLIR out.
And there's a lot of things to watch your arms on in that ship.
Exactly. And the fact, again, that we had been knocking our elbows every time we were setting something up. It was just a really cool capture, the whole investigation. And to Scott's point, it is I'd say one of my favorite places to investigate as well. Again, just for the history and everything that we captured that night was just really cool.
I'll share something with you. Audra and I had our first smell-a-normal.
Sensory, yeah.
On the USS North Carolina. We walked into the officers' mess hall.
Yes. What did you smell?
Food.
Bread.
I smelled potatoes and gravy and
like
beef,
bread.
and she
I
smelled
smelled
bread,
bread.
and I'm like, what in the hell?
Mm-hmm.
First time that had ever, in over almost 30 years of paranormal investigating, that is the first time I smelt food, and they had not cooked a meal in there since 1957.
And then it was it's not like it lingered or anything. It's like we walked through the one of the doors and we just walked, and I'm like stopped, and he's like, what? I'm like, I smell bread. He's like, I was gonna say I smelled like turkey and gravy. And
we did the same thing. We had the same experience. It was on the side where that the comm room was, where they did like all the telegraph stuff.
Okay.
The communications room over on that side. It was actually, we walked through and Jenny actually stopped me. She said, "Do you smell that?" And I'm like, yeah, it smells kind of like maybe bread or something. And same thing.
That's true.
So unless they're putting stuff in there to trick people, I don't know. It's the first time
we didn't smell it. I mean, because we had walked back and forth several times. We didn't smell it all night. One time.
Yeah, it was a matter of about 10 to 15 seconds, and it was gone.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so cool. That's the first time.
Maybe they were being like Disney, piping in the aroma.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, no, ironically enough, we did it in July. It was 99 degrees outside,
so hot.
100% humidity, and I made them turn off the fans.
Right.
Oh wow, good for you.
I didn't want my audio corrupted.
Good for you.
So it was hot as hell in that ship.
Oh yes, it was.
Oh, it was miserable hot. So yeah, so I know they couldn't have piped anything in because I made them shut everything off.
There you go.
But then there was like 9 people with us, and they were cussing me all night long. You turned off the fans. Well, you wouldn't have been able to hear anything.
Yeah.
Go outside.
Yeah.
We did. Took turns.
All right, what do we got next?
Lizzie Borden.
Okay, Lizzie Borden House. Again, another location that is just amazing. For those who don't know the history, this was the site of the 1892 murders of Andrew and Abby Borden. Obviously, Lizzie Borden was charged with that crime. She was found innocent, and it's one of those locations that you just step into it and you're like, "Gosh, Lee, I'm touching the walls that Lizzie Borden touched and all of that." And so, as I said before, one of the first things that we do when we go on an investigation is we set up our stationary voice recorders. So we had set up voice recorders all over the house, even though, I mean, we were still bringing in luggage at that point because we stayed the night there. And there were 5 of us, 5 females on this investigation. And we're sitting in the parlor area, just kind of calming down for a few minutes before we actually start the investigation. And my friend Cara, we were talking about the difference between Villisca, which we had investigated before, and the Lizzie Borden house. And Cara says, either way, being axed to death would be a horrible way to die. And this is what we captured.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
This is our second Ax Murder House.
Right. Villisca, we had some good stuff.
That just seems like a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
This is our second Ax Murder House.
Right. Villisca, we had some good stuff.
That just seems like a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
This is our second Ax Murder House.
Right. Villisca, we had some good stuff.
That just seems like a horrible way to go.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta love the fact that they put the damn axe on the couch.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know. I know. And you know, that's the area where Andrew Borden was struck to death. So the fact that we're getting a male's voice saying it was,
Right.
it's germane to the conversation. It's germane to the area. I can't explain that. We have no men on the team. There was no men there. And so it was a very clear audio. The voice recorder was sitting right there on that mantle, and it's just a very clear audio. It's like he's sitting there, just listening to us and interjects. It was a horrible way to die.
Right.
I didn't like it at all.
Well,
No, I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's not the easiest.
Most people would have that sentiment. It was.
Yeah,
I would think so.
I would hope so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, it's just one of those things that we've been very lucky with some of our audio. And I think it's the fact that we start the audio so early, even before we really start investigating, because you never know what's going to interject itself into your conversation. And obviously we didn't hear it in the moment. It's when you go back and listen to it that we actually captured it. So to me, it was a pretty interesting capture.
And everybody watch it, you can tell true people that have been investigating for a long time, because Todd and Carmela do the same thing. Audra and I do the same thing. First thing I do is when we get out, whether we're setting up equipment, whether we're doing a tour of the house,
Recorders.
grab the recorders as we're walking through, set them up, do the tour as we're talking. We have caught more giving a tour of the Montgomery house and telling everybody the history than we have during an investigation. We've caught more EVPs.
Or outside taking a break while we're all talking. You get the activities inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
Yep.
Just want to kind of join in on the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love this next one. Ma Barker.
Okay, so the Ma Barker house holds a special place in my heart because this is in the town where I grew up, Ocala, Florida, and so every time we would stay with my Nana, her post office was literally like a quarter of a mile. So when we go to the post office, we'd always talk about the Ma Barker house and all of that. So I grew up hearing the stories of the Ma Barker house. So originally this was built as a vacation home for a man named Carson Bradford. And he just happened to be approached in 1935 or 1934 by this couple who called themselves Mr. and Miss Blackburn. And he did not want to have it as a rental house, but they offered him a ton of money. So he said, okay, I'll rent it to you. But he did not know that he was renting to Fred Barker and Ma Barker, 2 members of the Barker Carpus gang. And at this point, this was a very prolific gang. It was one of the most prolific gangs in that late 1920, early 1930 time period. So J. Edgar Hoover was on their tail because they had kidnapped a man by the name of Edward Brimmer and William Ham the year prior. So they were hiding out from the FBI. So on January 16th, 1935, the FBI tracked them down to this house. A gunfire ensued, or a gun battle ensued, and it was the longest gun battle in FBI history. It lasted over 5 hours, and it did culminate in Ma and Fred being killed in the upstairs bedroom. Now, Ma's original name was Arizona Donnie Kate Clark. That was her name. She hated it. She went by Kate her whole life. And again, they used the alias of Blackburn when they rented this house. Now, this investigation, just my twin sister and I are in this house, and we were using the spirit box. So I know a lot of people don't really like the spirit box. They think it's hokum or whatever, but I tend to enjoy it. We've caught some very interesting things through the spirit box. And this is the great example of it, because as you hear this response, you can actually hear the channels switching behind the response. So there's no way that this is coming through on channels. It's coming through the white noise. And this is some of the best responses that we've gotten on a spirit box before. So here we go.
Right, you want to talk about timing, relevance, and intelligence? This is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Ma Barker, are you with us? Freddie? If you're with us, can you say the name Arizona? Can you say Blackburn? Thank you. What happened in this room? I thought you said we the ones killed.
It's the same voices too.
Yeah.
The same couple.
Yep, it's the same voices. And, obviously when we're doing our paranormal investigations, we want them to tell us our story, or we want them to tell us their story. And so that was their story. When I asked what happened in this room, their story is they murdered us. We're the ones dead. And in their minds, yeah, they were murdered by the FBI. The FBI said they didn't give up their guns, so we had to kill them because we're in the middle of a gunfight.
Right.
But their story is they murdered us. And so it was actually kind of interesting, because one of the controversies is that J. Edgar Hoover's men actually went in and shot them dead inside the house because of the placement of the bullet holes. So some people did believe that they were murdered and did not die in the shootout. So that was one of the controversies of the time. And yeah, so when they say they murdered us, maybe that they're confirming that controversy. But again, if you listen to that entire segment, everything that it's saying is germane to the conversation, right? He's saying Fred, and then the next one said that was Kate. Her name was Kate. And when I said, can you say the name Blackburn? There's no way a radio station is going to say Blackburn when I'm asking for the name Blackburn to come through. Right. And again, this house is sitting on 40 acres in the middle of nowhere, Ocala, Florida. You need a 4-wheel drive vehicle to get back to it. And so it can't there is no radio stations anywhere around. So it's very interesting. That to me, when people say they don't believe in the spirit box, I show them this clip because I can't explain it.
Right. Well, and the reason I pointed out it's the same voices is because on a spirit box sweep, the chances of you getting the same male voice with multiple responses and the same female voice with multiple responses that relate to the timing and the relevance of the questions that you're asking, the statistical numbers are, you have a better chance of hitting a Powerball.
Yeah. Yeah. And then the next night, the lottery and the state lottery.
Right. Ron wants to hear it again. So after everything that we've just said, everybody paid really close attention. There's no way on that sweep you're going to pick up the same male voice, the same female voice. You sure as hell ain't going to pick up, she hated her name Arizona. He didn't call her Arizona. He said, this is Kate.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
And the talk about the timing, that was Kate. You're not going to pick up on a sweep that many words in one sweep.
And I swear there was a Kate Blackburn right before they said Blackburn.
Okay,
Ooh.
let's listen to that. I didn't hear that, but let's hear it.
Listen. All right, here we go.
Ma Barker, are you with us? Freddie? If you're with us, can you say the name Arizona? Can you say Blackburn? Thank you. What happened in this room? I thought you said we the ones killed.
It says Kate Blackburn really fast.
Or it says like Kimburn. Like really
Catenburn.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, to me, it's just a great example of some of the stuff that we capture on the spirit box, and that's why I still think it's a valid tool.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and to talk to Ron Iacovetti with their TDSE experiment, they use the white noise generator, right?
Yes.
And then they filter out all the white noise, and then they get voices.
Yes.
He also implemented a piece of the software that slows it down, because we've noticed on EVPs and sometimes on the responses that he gets with the DVR and with the TDSC, with the white noise generator, that sometimes those responses come through quicker than we can hear them.
Mm-hmm.
So like Audra was just saying, Kate Blackburn,
yeah,
it didn't sound like Kate Blackburn because it came through so fast. But if you were to slow that section down, I could see it actually says that.
I could say that. Yeah. So again, yeah, that house to me is really something special. And we were the first team to get access to be allowed to do it. Again, it was one of those where I went in a business suit before the Marion County board and said, can I please investigate this? And they said, sure. So it was actually really neat.
Oh, wow.
That is you're just a phenomenal person, Chris.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Go get her.
She is. She does not give up. I will plan what I need to plan to get them to say yes, no matter what.
Exactly.
But the one thing I want to point out, though, is how accurately you are on the history. So I've seen the Ma Barker documentaries. I've watched them. Everything you said was so damn precise. It's crazy.
Well, again, it's one of those things for me. The history is so important, and the places that I love. I mean, it's just one of those. I'm willing to put forth the work to learn the history because it's so important, especially when we're talking about it. It's important to get it correct, and to be able to pull all of that together is just something that I really feel needs to be out there.
The amount of knowledge in your head, girl, gives me a headache.
Well, thank you.
All right, this last one, Old Hospital on College Hill.
Okay, so this was interesting. Again, trying to mix it up a little bit. So one of the claims from the Old Hospital on College Hill is that there are animals that can be heard throughout the building as well, because one of the doctors there, besides treating patients, he also was a vet. So he would bring animals into the hospital to treat them as well. So cat noises, dog noises, horses have been heard sometimes there as well. So this was kind of interesting. We had set up a voice recorder in one of the hallways. And so the first part of the clip, you're going to see me walking through the hallway, putting the voice recorder on the fire alarm pole there. And then you're going to see that there's nobody in the hallway. But to us, it sounds like a dog is panting. Obviously, there are no dogs in this hallway, so this was kind of interesting to us.
Oh, interesting. All right, here we go.
Wow.
That is a trip.
I know. It was a trip when I heard it. It's like, wait, because when I listen to my audio, I don't put it through any software or anything. I literally sit with headphones and listen to it as we recorded it. So if we captured 100 hours of audio, I'm listening to 100 hours of audio. And so I was just, laying on the couch reading or whatever. And all of a sudden I'm like, am I hearing a dog? And sure enough, it's kind of, to me, it sounds exactly like a dog walking up panting.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost sounds like he gets closer to the recorder.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Like, yeah. So that was kind of some of the interesting things we captured there at Old Hospital on College Hill.
That's fantastic. Or a really perverted patient, one of the two.
Well, we could go with that as well. Me too. I would have pet Ghost Dog. I'd love that. Sally would probably be pissed, but
Yeah.
Hey, you'd never have to feed it. You never have to take it out to the bathroom.
Nope.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a really cool capture.
So tell us what you want to tell us.
Okay. Did I send you a picture of a mirror?
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Okay, this one's kind of interesting to us. We were at the Manger Hotel in San Antonio, and it was just my sisters and I. It was about 2:00 in the morning, and we just had to do a walk around. Obviously, there are people in the hotel, but there wasn't anybody out when we took this picture. It was in the rotunda on the second floor. And if you zoom in, I think I sent you the next picture that's zoomed in. This is an interesting figure in this mirror. See that?
It looks like a girl with hair and a blue bow in her hair. And you know what? Let's do this.
Yeah. So again, I wanted to kind of mix up some of the evidence, and that was one of the better actual still photos that we've captured. And to the left of that mirror was a room that legend has it, a newly married couple was honeymooning then in that room, and he found out that she had an affair. And so he killed her in that room.
Oh my.
Of course, it popped up on the wrong screen. Lipstick.
Yeah. Hair bow.
Blue
Yeah,
hair
so it's
bow.
like she's looking down.
Looks like she's
little smile. Little smile.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can see her eyebrows here, the bridge of her nose here, her eye.
Bangs.
And we have about 50 pictures of that mirror, and that's the only one where that image is in it. And so it's just kind of an interesting capture that I wanted to share.
Very interesting.
When you zoom out.
Yeah.
So she's somewhat floating too, because this
it's a taller mirror. Yeah, it's a taller mirror. Yeah.
This is about 6'8", 7 foot tall.
Exactly.
Which puts her at about 5'11", 6 foot. Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was interesting. We don't a lot of the still pictures that we have don't really come out that clear. So again, it was kind of one that I was kind of impressed by.
Yeah.
Open.
Open sesame.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's one of the legends that's reportedly seen around the hotel.
Well, what's even more interesting is a lot of people can say, well, you get the skeptics that'll say, oh, it's just pareidolia. Okay, pareidolia doesn't have this much detail. Red lipstick, there's her nostril, there's the bridge of her nose, there's her eyebrows, there's her eyes. You got the blue bow in her hair. Her hair is brown.
Yeah.
And this is a very 1910,
like a Nellie Olson.
Yes.
Just like Mary said over there. And I very rarely share still photos because of pareidolia.
Right.
Somebody may look at that. And somebody may look at that and say, "Oh, it's a shark or something." I don't know, but to me, everybody that I've shown that picture to,
yes,
everybody that I've shown that picture to, all say the same thing. They see the same thing, and so that's why I wanted to share it tonight.
Yeah.
What's interesting is the white haze around her.
Mm-hmm.
We can see like her jig. You can almost see down here towards the bottom, it like more of her dress. Like
it flows to the right. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Well, you can see her neck.
That's what I said.
And somewhat of the neckline and like a ruffled collar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's one of the very few still photos that I'll share, just because again, pareidolia is so pervasive. And but that one to me, everybody that I've shown it to sees the same thing.
Well, what's even more interesting is the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't use a flash, did you?
Not on that one.
Okay, you didn't use a flash, but yet there's. I mean, this could be like a distorted image of your directional on your. Did you use a phone?
No. This was several years ago. So we were actually using a digital camera with this one.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
so you're not going to have the directional. That's weird. It's even more weird.
Yeah, the whole picture is weird.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So, like I said, I just want to share some different techniques and stuff that we've used and captured. So.
Well, here's what's even more interesting is this. So if you look in the mirror is reflecting.
Yes.
Something that's on the wall across the hall.
Across the hall. So that's the door frame to the
door
way,
right
on the other side of the rotunda.
Yeah. So if you look really close, this image in the mirror distorts that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So if this was just like scratches or something pareidolia in the mirror, this wouldn't be distorted because this is in front of it.
Exactly. Good. I'm glad you're seeing the same thing I did.
Yeah. And if you look really close, the decorations on the wall showing up in the mirror from the opposite side, she covers it up too.
Mm-hmm.
This almost looks like a veil on the back that comes down from the bow.
Yeah.
And it actually covers up whatever you're reflecting in the mirror from across the hall here.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something in the mirror in front of the reflections behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, no other picture that we took that night of that mirror had that image in it. And so we actually showed it to the manager of the hotel, and we sent it to them because they said it was the clearest evidence that they had of the woman that's supposed to be on that floor.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
I mean, taking the facial features out of it, the fact that the image is blocking out the reflection of the shit behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like she just kind of appeared and she's got a little grin on her face and like here I am.
Well, and here's another thing that people could say, well, this is just scratches in the old mirror. No, this is.
Yeah, that is.
That is what a scratch would look like in a piece of glass from somebody cleaning it, right? Mm-hmm. That would leave etches in the old glass because glass is not. Glass is not a solid surface. Actually, people really don't realize this. Is glass is always in liquid form. Mm-hmm. They can never heat it up to make it solid. So glass is always in a constant form of movement. It's just so slow that over time we don't see it. This is actually a scratch on the surface of the glass. Yeah. See the difference?
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's just one of those things that I thought was kind of interesting and couldn't explain it.
And if anybody out there doubts me, I've been in the window business for 32 years. I know what glass looks like when it's scratched. This is a glass scratch. This is not.
That's funny. So, all right. Well, thank you for sharing that one. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. So now back to your other question. Kind of tell you what we got going on. Yeah. So as we said at the opening, I am the co-owner of the historic Scott County Jail here in Huntsville. And tonight is actually the 100th anniversary of the murder of Sheriff Richard Ellis. He was killed right outside the front door of the historic Scott County Jail there. He was killed in 1925. It's still an unsolved murder. Somebody ran around the corner of the building, shot him in the back of the head and killed him instantly. And so after we jump off this at 10:30, my business partner and I, we will be conducting a live paranormal investigation from inside the jail to see if we can communicate with Richard Ellis.
That is fantastic. And if everybody watching, that's the jail.
Yes, that is the jail. That's the old historic Scott County Jail here in Huntsville, Tennessee.
And take the fact that that's the jail out of that and look at that architecture.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was just getting ready. Looks medievalish.
Building.
Yes. So it was built in 1904. And at that point, Scott County had a large problem with moonshine. So they wanted to build a jail that would project a strong stance on law and order. And they thought that medieval look was what was going to get it done. So it is built of solid sandstone brick that are 3 feet by 4 feet by 5 feet thick. And obviously sandstone has quartz in it. So it's essentially like an energy building.
Right.
And so that's why another reason why we think it's so active. And from 1904 until 2008, when it closed, we've seen everything. It was actually used as the jailer's quarters for several years. So we've had people that were born there. We had people die there of natural causes. We've had lynchings from the jail. We've had our unsolved murder of Sheriff Ellis, which we're going to investigate tonight. And so it's just a great building. And it is one of the top 5 haunted places in the state of Tennessee now.
Good job.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Where can everybody find you, Chris, so they can come to the 1910 jail and investigate and do the rugby? Where can they find you at?
Okay, so first of all, if you want to know anything about Soul Sisters Paranormal, our website is www.soulsistersparanormal.com. If you want to know anything about the jail, go to www.historicscottcojail.com. And then we also have the Historic Scott County Jail Facebook page. And then for Historic Rugby, we have the Historic Rugby After Dark Facebook page, or you can go to www.historyhighwayshaunts.com. historyhighwayshaunts.com, and that can take you to both the jail and rugby. And we do paranormal investigations, guided ghost hunts, flashlight tours, lantern tours. We do all kinds of cool after dark stuff.
Nice. You were a busy girl. That's me.
We are, very much so. And then hopefully by the end of the year, we'll be making an announcement of another place that we're opening up to add to our repertoire of interesting locations.
So they might call it Huntsville, Tennessee, but soon it will be Christyville, Tennessee.
Or History Highways and Haunts, Tennessee, for sure.
There you go. History Highways and Haunts, Tennessee. That is fantastic.
There you go.
Triple H, Tennessee.
Hey, there you go. I like that. But this has been a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it was nice having you.
Yeah.
Have fun tonight.
Thank you, and thank you everybody in the chat room tonight for all of your questions and comments and feedback. Very much appreciated. So again, just check out all the stuff we got going on, and if you find yourself in East Tennessee, we'd love to have you stop by and see us.
That's awesome.
Cool.
All right, guys, we're going to let Kristy go back and investigate the dead sheriff.
Yep.
We're going to let Todd go back to investigating the party in Key West. And Audra and I are going to go to bed because I have to work in the morning. Guys, I cannot tell you, we've had Chris on multiple shows with Entity Voices, now on Stay Haunted. I guarantee you we will have her back.
I'd love to be back.
If you want to spend some time with somebody with a phenomenal mind that knows the paranormal, that knows the history, you've got to look up Haunted History Highways.
History Highways Haunts.
HistoryHighwaysHaunts.com. You've got to go to Tennessee, to Huntsville, Tennessee. You got to check out the 1910 jail. This woman knows her stuff. She knows her history. She knows how to stay haunted.
That's right.
Guys, have a good night. We'll see you next week.
Good week.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.